Hi, this is Sarah, and I am here because so many people have asked what do I do for recruiting? How can I recruit for people at the beginning of February? I recruited 3 people on January 1st. So I've got 7 new team members this year personally on my level ones. And I've been helping my level twos and lower recruit themselves. So people keep asking, so this is basically what I do. Um, I made some notes, but first and foremost, it starts with having a positive attitude. I have been doing some train your brain work with Dana Wild. Her book is called Train Your Brain. She has amazing free webinars and free podcasts that you can listen to on her website, which is themindaware.com, I believe. Um, and start there because I just started with her free stuff. I took one of the courses, a 6-week intentional action course, which really changed everything for me. But that was like a lot of money, 200 something. Um, so anyway, I started there. I read the book. I worked through the mantras. I worked through that train your brain and really getting myself in a positive position. Basically, her premise is that you don't do anything without having a positive mindset ahead of time. Like if you are not positive about the outcome of what you're about to do, then don't do it. And that's really been amazing for me. So anyway, um basically I plant seeds everywhere and then I water them and let them grow. Um I focus on relationships. So I'm doing a lot of relationship building in my parties. My parties, I do 5-day parties. And so a couple days before the party, I start posting get to know you stuff with everybody. And I really interact with people as much as possible and let my excitement shine through. A lot of exclamation points, a lot of smileys, a lot of hearts, and just really let people know I'm excited. Um, and then as the party goes, I am always there. I'm always making sure I can answer questions and everything. And once I start seeing people have more and more questions, whether it's about the products, they're interested in the products or whatever, I'm really like, I try to send friend requests on Facebook because I do mainly Facebook parties. So I try to send friend requests and I try to get them in a one-on-one message. Um, and for me, I feel like people open up more on the one-to-one setting and ask questions that they wouldn't have on the event wall. I do all my parties and events. And then I keep my parties open forever. So my 5-day parties work Monday through Friday, and we usually kind of start closing down like Saturday, Sunday, and then I double check and not only do I post on the event wall, but then I also have the hostess send messages and see who else is interested. I keep a running tally of who I think is going to order, and then I check in with them. And I do this and I talk about it now because this is part of my relationship building. Hey, it sounded like you were really excited. Did you want to place an order? Oh, you can't place an order right now? Well, do you need to wait for payday? And just knowing that like I'm not hard and fast and this party has to close by this date, we need to have orders in by this date, kind of sets people up for like, oh, she's kind of watching out for us. She doesn't need this order necessarily at this moment. Or it really helps my hostesses too. Obviously, I get a lot more sales the last couple days when the party's not officially open than I do when it is open because people are, you never know when you're going to hit payday and that kind of stuff. So anyway, through all that, I'm sending friend requests, I'm putting things in private messages. People are ordering from my site. If they place 2 orders in a party, I refund them the shipping for the second order. Sometimes I do bulk orders and everybody gets free shipping. I just build those relationships and get people really excited and really comfortable about me and excited about the products. I do a lot of videos like this in my party where I'm either giving a rundown of our best, sister style exclusive of the month or whatever the offers are that month. And so they're getting to know me as a person, as a spaz, the person I am. And sometimes I do those with my kids on my lap because that's how I have to do them. So anyway, that's how I run my parties. Facebook. So then I'm Facebook friending them, or they're hopefully sending them to me, and I follow along. So you're not just like sending them a friend request and then you're never listening, talking to them again or whatever. Like they're gonna be in your feed. You need to start following along with them Okay, you need to start commenting on them, not just liking their post, but commenting, even if it's just a heart, even if it's a smiley face, whatever, a frowny face if they're having a bad day. Comment and build that relationship. And then I also have all of my customers, my hostesses in, and I send mailings like once a month. I've recently switched to FizzyBee from MailChimp, although I think I'll still do some MailChimp mailings, personal stuff too, because the FizzyBee doesn't always hit when I want to hit. So I get a lot of repeat customers, and I do end up turning those repeat customers into hostesses and into consultants sooner or later. So yeah, like I'm saying, I'm planting seeds. I'm posting in my party like 2 or 3 times a party about joining. I have a post that's, just basic information about the kit. I have a post about um, my Jamboree journey. I have a post about the 10 best things about joining Jamboree. And then I have a post of like, oh, ask me anything. I will answer any questions you want. That's a great post because then they start asking questions about joining. Then you can send a friend request, answer those questions in the messages. You want to answer them on the comments too, but just say, hey, it sounds like you have some more questions. Do you want to talk? Okay. I do thank you notes, try to do thank you notes with every purchase. Somebody purchases, I'm putting a thank you note in, I'm putting a host join brochure in there. They're getting that message, that host join message every time they get a piece of a sample from me, every time they get a thank you note from me, every time they get anything from me, they're getting a host join brochure. And then with my hostesses, I talk up joining to my hostesses so much. I had an $800 party before I joined, and then I turned around and had a launch party. It was only $300. I mean, it was $300, but if you can imagine, looking back, I really wish I had known I was going to join, and I really wish I had done that party as me as a consultant. So that's something I tell my hostesses. In my hostess packets that I mail to them, there's the host join brochures. There's a thing that talks about like hosting before you join and which one you want to do. And then I personalize that. Like, I really want to see you on my team. I think you'd be amazing at it. If you have any questions, let me know. At any point, we can turn your party into your launch party and you can earn the commissions and the hostess rewards. I let them know at any point they can make that decision, at any point they can join, and then they would get the hostess rewards as well as the commission. I'm also really big on letting everybody know that I will support them through that. It's not like all of a sudden they're going to have a party. I'll still be their consultant during their party. It's just I will do all the posts and do all the work, and they will get the rewards and the commission. So I talked to them before the party happens. I talked to them during the party. Hey, your friends are amazing. They're having so much fun. Looks like they're really going to buy a lot, especially if they're holding off, but they're saying, oh, I'm going to order. I just need to wait for payday. I'm always like, hey, you are doing great. You're an amazing hostess. I have a hostess bingo board, and I do a hostess boot camp for them. And the women who fill up that bingo board and who want to fill up that bingo board, those are the women who end up being my consultants. And so I really work with them on that. And then I talk to them after the party, if their party has closed, and they've gotten a lot of orders, or they've gotten a lot of people who want to host parties. I'm always like, hey, you should do this. Your friends want to. You've just earned the kit credit, even if they haven't earned the kit credit. You've just, you've booked like 3 parties, 4 parties, 5 parties, whatever it is. I will help you do the first couple to get you under your belt, and then you can be on your own. You can earn the commission on that. And I always offer to do those first 1 or 2 parties for them, whether it's their launch party, if they want me to throw their launch party, whether it's a friend's party, whatever. So I'm talking to my hostesses 3 or 4 or 5, 6 times about it, and it becomes a joke. Like, I know we've already covered this. I just want to make sure you don't have any other questions. And I tell them, like, that first time they tell me no, like, okay, I really think you'd be amazing at this. We're going to go over this again. And like I said, it becomes a joke. I'm always like, really, like, I'm not trying to be pushy. I just think you'd be great. And I feel like just saying that out loud, it does sound kind of pushy, but it's not. Like, it just works. I don't know. It's really organic. Okay, so got all those right. So now I have my customers who may or may not be interested. Now I have my hostesses who may or may not be interested. I have a, ooh, there goes my notes. I have this amazing recruiting notebook. There's a post on this, a video on this somewhere on YouTube. Basically, you just write down everybody who you either want on your team, who's expressed interest, who's whatever, okay, people you think would be amazing on it. You write down everybody and you give them a page. You put their name. You can talk how much, whatever you want to put on this, you can. I like to put how I know them, who they're recruited from. And then every time you talk to them about it, you write it down, just a date. And then pretty soon you're going to have a join on the bottom, okay? And so usually what happens is 1 in 10 people from your list, 1 in 10 leads average is going to join. And it takes about 10 times for you to talk about it and for them to get all the information on average before they actually join. So like Joyce just joined yesterday. Let me get back to her page. I didn't even date it, but Joyce, she was a hostess. And then like right after, like a couple weeks after her party, she said to me, I wish there was a kit discount. Like, there is a kit discount. Did I not cover that with you? And so I wrote her down. And I was just like, hey, Joyce, like, there is a kit discount. Are you sure you don't want to join? No, she didn't want to join. She didn't want to host another party. She just had one. Well, what, 5, 6 months later, all of a sudden she's like, hey, I think I'd like to book a party. I think she played the snowflake game with me. And I was like, oh, let's do a party. She wanted to do a party for March. And I said, you know, she wanted to do the beginning of March to hit the new catalog. And I said, Joyce, why don't we do the end of February and then we can do a crossover party. She loved that. I asked her if she wanted a home party. She was definitely into a home party. We didn't do a home party last time. We did a Facebook party. We talked about having a crossover like catalog home party that last couple days of February, and we can show both catalogs and people can order from both catalogs. And so that was all in January. And then in February, the incentive hit. And I was like, hey, are you still interested? Or no, it was even before then. I'm looking. I said something like, hey, are you still interested? Because you can earn, like if you have a $250 or a $350 party, you can earn for that kit discount that we talked to. Yes, she's still interested. Well, then bang, the opportunity, the join call hit, the opportunity incentive hit. She got on that very first opportunity call and was interested. And so then and this is something else I'll talk about. I'm going everywhere now. Okay, so back to my notebook. Every single person who I can think of who I either want on my team or who has talked about it, like she said, when the girls are older. Like that's like a year or two down the road, but she's still in my book and I still follow up with her every time we have an incentive. I'm talking to her about it. So that's how I do my recruiting notebook. And the thing is, like, I just have it in like chronological, like when I talk to them about it. You know, all this last couple of people I just had an event, and so they're here on the back. I have a lot of joins. I was actually calculated this, and I have 23% of my people have joined, which is amazing. Somebody asked me if I did it in alphabetical order, and I don't. I just put it in like the next person I talk to is going to go on this next blank page. And the thing is, what I love about that is that when I'm like, oh, I should talk to that person, or I just did talk to that person, and I'm flipping through, it reminds me of all of the other people I haven't talked to recently, and I go through and I actually just send them a message and check in. So that's my notebook. What I was going to say about the opportunity calls is that I do, whenever we have an opportunity call, like once a month, I go through and see who I haven't talked to recently. Recently, I mean like for joining like 2 or 3 months, 4 months, whatever, unless there's a big incentive like there was this month. And I actually make sure that when they yes, they want, do you want, and I always invite, just like Holly says, you always invite them to the opportunity. Belinda says that too, invite them. Don't say, hey, would you want to go on this opportunity call? I'd love to invite you to this opportunity call. And then I always make sure they know they don't have to actually talk, because that's kind of scary, but it could be a webinar or they could call in. They don't have to say anything. And then I'll check in with them immediately after. And I do check in immediately after. I check in. I always listen to the calls with them. So maybe not like on a conference call, but I always send them a message ahead of time like, hey, I'm about to jump in on the call. Are you able to join tonight? Even if they said they were going to be there. Sometimes they have technical difficulties and need help working through that. Sometimes they're out in the boonies and they don't really care. Sometimes they've said, yes, I'm going to be on the call, and they never really meant to be on the call. That's okay. So then when I know that they're on the call and I'm checking in on Facebook and they're on the call, then I let them know that after the call, I will check in with them. This last opportunity call, we had like my level ones and I had like 6 or 8 people on the call. And so I grouped them all in, like I'm sending friend requests to these women if I haven't already. And I grouped them all together in a group Facebook message, and I just sent them a message and said, hey, everyone here was on the call. If you have any questions, please ask me. And I answered their questions that night. And we had people join the very next day. We had people have to wait for payday, but almost everybody who was on that call, the 6 or 8 people, almost everybody on that call has joined since then. That was just last week's opportunity call. So that's how I do. And then finally, like I always, 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 if they're still on the fence, if they're not like, oh my gosh, I'm joining right away, then I do try to get them to have a phone call with me. And I try to be really low pressure on that too. I'm always this last girl I just talked to, she was like, I am really interested. I can't afford it right now. Oh, okay, that's fine. She's like, I'm just trying to save up the money. That's cool. She had missed the opportunity call. So I was like, I really think that it would be helpful for you to know more about what you're trying to save up money for. Why don't we talk on the phone? It's going to take 10, 15 minutes. So I finally got her to she was like, oh yeah, sure, we can do it this time. I said, okay, what works for you? And she said, well, we can either do tomorrow at 10 or we can do right now. And I'm like jumping on the phone right now, like, okay, what's your number? Let's call right now. I just follow Holly's script. You just talk about, you introduce them, introduce yourself to them. You tell them how the days or the call is going to go. And then you say, by the end of the phone call, I would like just to know, because it will really help our relationship. You can either say, yes, I'm ready right now. No, I'm not ready now, but I can join in the future. Or no, I'm not ever going to be interested. I should never listen to that anyway. But, and so that's the second part. And then the third part is, tell me about yourself. And sometimes you have to flesh out more about them, or sometimes they're just like lay their whole lives out at you. Then the next step is you tell them about your Jamboree journey. The next step is how Jamboree is different. You use those 2 parts and you reflect back what you heard them say they need. So if you don't know the DISC stuff, I'm sure Holly's going to talk about it in the next couple of training videos. But if you don't know the DISC, you need to know not only where you are, but you need to start learning where other people are and kind of learn how to pick out what other people need from Jamboree from what they tell you about themselves. And then you kind of tailor your Jamboree story and what's so amazing about Jamboree from that. And then you answer their questions. The next part is answering their questions. Again, you just kind of tailor and listen to them and see where they need to lead you. And then by the end of the call, they are whatever, they have something to say. They either say, yeah, I'm ready to join. They're saying, oh, I still need to save up the money. They're saying, I still need to think about it, or I need to talk to my husband, or whatever. You make sure you set a date. Like if they're maybes, okay, I will check in with you in 2 days and we'll see where you are. That kind of gives you the idea where you can either keep checking in with them, or you kind of can figure out if they're serious or not. and I personally don't waste time with people who aren't that serious. I can always kind of figure out like she's going to join. I'm always telling my husband like, "Oh, I have a call with somebody today. She's going to join." Or I get off the phone and I'll say, "Oh, she's going to join like as soon as possible." Um, so, like I said, let them lead, and then I do sneak peeks. I know a lot of people on their team pages do like special sneak peek times and places. I don't. I just like, as soon as someone's interested, come on in, see what the family's like. Come on. And depending on how excited they are about joining, the sneak peek is going to really help them feel like they're already part of the team and keep them interested and in the loop, or it's going to, help them make that decision. I always check in with my girls who are sneak peeking. I don't have a set time frame for a sneak peek. I always just check in with them, depending on how hot of a lead they are, every couple of days or after a week or whatever. I have one girl right now who wants to join in the spring, and she was going to be my level 1, but then her mother-in-law ended up joining, so now she's planning on joining under her mother-in-law. And she's just kind of hanging out in the team because we know she's going to join. So at this point, I want her to get as much of that information as possible, especially with the summit that just happened, with the catalog change, with everything. I'm completely cool with her gaining that information now and starting to learn that information. So I just keep her in the group. She'll join next month, hopefully. We'll see. Yeah, so I do a lot of telling my story, letting them lead, make sure I'm following up on sneak peekers. And then for my team, as they are building, like I said, I do their launch parties if they want. And then I always, always, always love being in conversations with them and their recruits or their potential recruits. So I'm always like, please, if they're comfortable, add me in a group chat, and I can do that, and you can follow my lead. You can just say, hey, Sarah's really passionate about this, or Sarah would love to chat with you too, or I'm not really sure I know everything, but Sarah would for sure know it. So you can ask both of us and we'll answer as we need to. So that's how I do it. It really works. I just get really excited. I'm really good on the phone. And I have a lot of fun. And girls know that I am here to support them. Whether, I think a lot of girls are worried that it's going to be something that they lose money on. And I'm always telling them, I've never had that be my experience with Jamberry, because of kit credits or because of marketing material credit or because we don't need inventory or whatever. So many of these direct sales companies that they may have had experience with before have really high overhead or have a lot of stuff. Um, so I just kind of hit all those questions and make sure that people know that. So anyway, if you have any questions for me, you can send me an email. It's Gracie, Gracie, Jayne, Jayne, Jams, Jams at Gmail. And I will be happy to answer them. I hope that helps. I know it was kind of long. I'll talk to you soon.